punch from your chin. This one's easy, all right? There's no reason that you can't do this, right? You just have to make sure your hands are on your chin. Turn your punches over, right? You don't have to go crazy with it, but your knuckles should face down slightly, right? This is gonna help with the torque. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Shout out to all the subscribers, as always. Much gratitude. Gratitude to anybody new. Thank you very much. This video is a massively important one. I feel like I say that every time, but I'm gonna give you 10 punching tips today that you, the beginner, can, use and basically help elevate your punches. From, some of them are going to be specific for punching, but some of them are going to be based around the stance and based around how, what kind of energy you're putting in before you've even punched. There's going to be some very, very important tips in here that you can actually apply today. So let's get into the video.
Boxing.
Okay, so I've got this beautiful place to myself. This is my favorite spot to shoot, so we're in for a good video today. As I said, very much appreciated you guys joining me. Let's get straight into it, okay? These 10 tips, as I said, most of them you're gonna be able to apply today. There's gonna be one or two that you might need to make some adjustments and practice, but I've been speaking about it for a while on the channel with some of them, but I wanna tie it all together because, the importance of these tips do range from beginner to advanced, but the accessibility and how you can use them, most of these will apply to complete beginners. And as I said, will elevate your punches. So let's go into number one. Okay, number one, you've got to relax, right? This is crucial. Crucial in not just boxing, any type of martial arts, or even professional sports, really, if you think about it, but specifically boxing, because there's many reasons why you need to relax. A lot of it is quite advanced, but if you're hunched up like that, and a lot of beginners will push their shoulders up like that, the arms are really tense like this, and that you're going to be burning energy first of all. Then you're going to be putting your muscles in a compromised situation to get better muscle coordination, right? So if I'm coming in here like this, all tense, I'm burning energy, I'm not loose, my muscles are already contracted, and you don't want that really. You want the muscles to flow, you want it to be fluid, and you want to be relaxed. And you can practice this, right? Just by trying to be more relaxed, just understanding that your muscles your shoulders are going to do that when you're trying to punch. Just relax your shoulders, take it a notch down, calm down and relax, right? I'm pretty sure you can get in a more of a relaxed state than maybe you were before, if you think about it, right? I'm not saying you're going to be ultra relaxed, but you can certainly improve a little bit right now. So do that. Number two is tied into it. This is going to be a good stance, right? I talk about this every time. I always mention it at the beginning of every video, whatever we're doing, punching, footwork, defense, offense, whatever it is, your stance is crucial, right? You really need a good stance. I cannot stress that enough. Why? Because look, if I have a bad stance, and I'll change the camera angle. If I have a bad stance, let's just say my feet are too close together, my balance is going to be a little bit off. Let's just say I'm right here. My shoulders aren't going to be back here. I'm not going to have the right rhythm. I'm not going to have the right energy for most of these punches. Yeah, you can throw punches like that, arm shots like that, but you need to practice a hell of a lot to be able to do that. And it's still not really going to be that efficient because you're not going to be in the right position after. So just a good stance. I made a video on that. Nice and relaxed here. Most of them, like 60% of my weight is going to be on my back foot here, and I've got a nice stance here. Bam, bam. And I can punch right here. That's a good one. So that's two. Hopefully the audio comes out okay today. Apologies for audio. Yesterday was like, I shot it all. It came out good. At least I thought in here when I went to put it in and uploaded it, the audio was trash. So it really means a lot to me, getting the audio good and getting the professionalism on this channel. And I love it when I'm out here. I've got the space to talk. I've got the place to myself. I can get different camera shots because a part of the channel is a bit of photography and videography and just, passionately talking about boxing, high level punching. So, and obviously beginners, but punching is very passionate to me, and I've been studying it a long time, and I think it's definitely my specialty. So I like to bring stuff to you guys. So on to number three, right? So punch from your chin. This one's easy, all right? There's no reason that you can't do this, right? You just have to make sure your hands are on your chin when you punch, right? This comes back to a good stance, comes back to, you know, just applying yourself, right? Punch from the chin is not only going to set up your punch for a you know, a more efficient punch, right? Because you're not fighting gravity, essentially. I don't want to get too much into the science of it, but let's just say my hand is down here, my right hand is down here, and I'm going to punch up, right? You're already going up, so you have to, you know, work a little harder to get the better technique from here. Yeah, sure, if you've experienced and you're professional, or you've been boxing a long time, that's going to be a lot easier. But if you're a beginner, you know, punching from your chin, obviously defensively it's going to be a better place for you to be. You're going to have better hand positioning, right? But you know, the shots are going to be bam, like that, straight boom from your chin, and bring it right back to your chin. All right, punch from your chin, bring it right back to your chin. Punch from your chin, bam, bring it right back to your chin. All right, so important and so easy to do. I think we're on number 4 now, and I've made a video about this, and I'll drop links in the description below to give you the, you know, the full videos of basically everything I'm speaking on here. I've made videos for. So, and I've done a short video on 10 punches, but it's 1 minute, which is why I wanted to make this video, because 1 minute is nowhere near enough time to explain what I'm talking about. So number 4 is, I've forgotten what it was. Oh yeah. Don't throw arm punches, right? And I just made a video about this last week actually. An arm punch is this, right? An arm punch is this. There's no shoulder rotation, okay? So boom like that, boom like that. And if you're throwing 2 punches, if you just, or even 3 or 4, if you look at the rotation, bam, 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 bam. It's like the shoulders are constantly changing over, right? It's like a lever system. I'm sure the audio just kicked out. Whenever I do, you know, erratic movement like that, the audio just bounces around. That's why you might hear it drop out. But, you know, don't throw arm punches. And I think one of the other tips is the shoulder rotation. They're basically similar things, but just look out for it, you know, and record yourself. I keep saying this, you know, if you're going to do this, you're going to see your shoulder isn't moving forward, right? But if you do that, turn your hips, it's going to make you want to turn your hips and your back foot. I'll change the camera and I'm going to show you. Yeah, so if I'm doing this, my knee's going to want to turn, right? Boom, like that. Bam. You're going to get a much better punch rather than this, right? And I'm not saying this doesn't have a use. There's a time and a place for it. For we're on the inside, boom, a little short uppercut like that, I can just dig it in there because I can throw decent arm punches. But as a beginner, don't throw arm punches. I'm not sure what number we're on, but I'll leave it, you know, on the bottom screen with the title of it, so you guys can know. And I've made a video about this one. This next one is don't lean in, right? And I'm going to change the angle as well so you can see. But the tendency, and this is, you know, perfectly natural thing to do, is to move forward with your punch, right? Because the punch and your weight is going to be moving forward, so you don't want to lean in like that, right? And I don't want my chin to be over my front knee. Yeah, I don't want to lean in like that. I don't want my knee to be over, my chin to be over my front knee. You're going to lose balance. You're bringing yourself closer to your opponent. It's a bad punching form. All right, simple fix. Imagine there's a pole that goes directly through you, and then boom, I can't physically move past here. Bam, like that. Boom. All right, very important, that one. The next one is exhale on the punches. Don't hold your breath, right? And I made a video about that. Again, all the links will be below in the description. Check them out. Check out the full video. I might have added a few more details in there. I'm trying to get this video condensed so it's more watchable, so you can run through these tips, you know, seamlessly. But breathe, right? You know, if I'm here, especially on combinations, you know, you don't want to hold your breath. If you hold your breath, you're going to get so tired so quickly, and you're going to wonder what the hell's going on. But that's part of being relaxed. You know, I'm here. You don't have to throw it on every punch. But when I'm throwing those big shots and the 1s and 2s, you definitely want to exhale, especially on that last punch. Everybody has their own difference, you know. Sometimes I don't jab, you You know, you can do it on both, but you have to exhale 100%. All right, this next one, this might be 6 or 7, I've lost count, but focus on technique, right? Now, what do I mean by that, right? A lot of tendencies for beginners, because I've been teaching beginners almost 13 years now, and I see a lot of the same patterns, and it's understandable, do you know what I mean? They'll try to really throw the punch really hard or really fast, right? And that's going to compromise the technique ultimately, right? Because they're doing this like that. But, you know, just take your time, get good technique, okay? This, boom, this like 10 times, boom, boom, is way better than going and getting 1 or 2 of those really good. I've made this comparison before. If you're on a golf range, you know, I've played golf like once every 5 years or something, but if, you know, I'll be the first one to admit I'm trying to smash it, right? And I might get 1 or 2 that feel great, but really the rest of them aren't that good. So the consistency is what comes down to when you get good technique and do it where you can get good consistency, you know, more. Might not be every one, but you're gonna get more of that. And then when you get that down, then you can start to build up the speed and power. That's just my personal opinion. Obviously, you're welcome to your own, but I would highly recommend you focus on good technique. Okay, I think this is number 8, right? I've talked about this in the past many times, and I will continue to do that. You know, it's basically you don't want to, what we call a punch tell in boxing, right? And that's a movement. If I'm doing this and jumping that back and then punching, right? That's you're giving me a window, right? If I've got an opponent that comes in like this, I'm just gonna step on the side, move my head, do what I have to do because they're telling me they're about to punch. So I'm here like this, boom, punch like a snake. That was the video that I just made, where you don't want to give any information away. You don't want to telegraph your punches, right? And telegraphing can be from your body movement, like that. I could move like this before I punch. I could light my eyes up like that, you know, but you want to keep it right here, stealth, you know, and don't give your opponent any information whatsoever, because the less info that they have, the more chance you have of landing. Very important one, that one. This one is actually very important. It's very high level, but it's also easy to understand, right? And depending on what level you are as a beginner, you might not be ready for this one, but it's good to know, right? Defensive responsibility after you punch, right? So if I'm practicing here, and I've also encouraged beginners to stay in the same place and shoot those same shots, right? Like that, but, and this bit's important, especially early on, because you can program your mind to do things for your later self, right? You might thank yourself later. So if I'm on the bag, right, and I'm shooting right hands and I'm here, I want to go boom, and I want to move, right? Boom, move, move, move. 1, 2. That's defensive responsibility. Getting your head out of the way, moving out of the way. You can even step back. Basically, prepare yourself mentally for a punch that's coming back. Again, this might not be for complete beginners. I totally understand that. But if you do that all the time, shadow boxing, and you actually train like that on the bag, on the mitts, you're going to condition yourself to actually perform like that. And you're going to be in such a better position, because you're going to be, that's the chess, right? It's chess, not checkers. All right, you're thinking about 3, 4 moves before you've even punched. So I'm here and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna punch, but I'm gonna slip as well. So, but you can drill that into your mind by doing it in practice. Defensive responsibility, very important. Okay, I've made a video about this one. I think this is number 9. Turn your punches over, right? You don't have to go crazy with it, but your knuckles should face down slightly, right? This is gonna help with the torque, and this is gonna help with the rhythm and the muscle coordination. And it's just a much better professional way of punching that you can do today. Again, a lot of these tips are stuff you can do today. So that's why I'm bringing it to light, because it's stuff that you can absolutely do if you follow it, and you can do it. And the last one is, I think I've already spoken about this, rotate your shoulders, but you know, it comes in with arm punches really. They're kind of very connected. So rotating your shoulders, making sure your punches, your shoulders are going through, right? You don't have to do it to every single one. I'm gonna get into this a little bit at a later date. For example, if I'm right here, I'm out front, and I just wanna shoot a sharp shot, boom, like that, then fine, you wanna get there quicker, but you want more power on it, you put that shoulder through it. You want it to set up the other punch, boom, you put your shoulder through it. Bam, 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 right? This is something you can do today. Again, a lot of the stuff on here you can do. It's not gonna be too much challenge for you. I just realized that my, as I was moving over here to change angles, the audio dropped out. Man, it's so frustrating. I've got this another mic, this wireless thing. I'm gonna start using that because, like I said, the audio is really important to me, and it's like when I look down and it's started it again, I'm like, damn. So hopefully I'll get this up. Hopefully the audio is good, but that's the 10 punching tips beginners you can do today. My name is Henry. I appreciate if you made it this far, it means you really want to learn. I've got massive respect for that, you know. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. It's got to come from the center of the chest, boom, right here. And then subscribe to the channel if you really enjoy this. You want more tips for beginners, more punching tips, high level brought to you, dressed up for beginners, but you know, there's some advanced stuff in there. I love punching, I love teaching. I teach it for a living, you know. I teach kids in schools, I teach grown men, clients, you know. I love training, been doing it, you know, well, fighting 15 years, like in the amateurs, and just, you know, sparred a lot, got trained by some top trainers, and I just love the sport, and I'm trying to bring it to you guys, you know, with some videography. I'll try and bring some music in eventually, but, you know, just want to say thank you to anyone that's made it this far, as I said, and just be the best you can be. That's a big part of the channel, a lot of discipline, self-motivation, self-love, self-improvement, and all those good things, you know. But that's it, I'm going to get this video done and get it up later today. I'll have another one tomorrow. That's the consistency we're going for. So I hope the audio came out okay. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you've got any questions. Appreciate you.
Boxing.
On it.